Yeah, no, that's actually, I would say 2018 was my favorite year ever because it was completely blockchain. It was literally like every month I would sell cryptocurrency because my wife would tell me what the bills are for the month. You know, obviously that's not sustainable. So eventually, eventually I had to change that up a little bit. And so as you said, my family and I have got 3 kids. We moved to Puerto Rico because of the tax benefits. And a lot of people think, oh, well, you just want to you want to just save some money and you're greedy or selfish. And it's like, no, I actually fundamentally believe that taxation is theft. That service providers should be voluntary. I want roads, I want all these things, but I do not believe they should be backed by violence. I do not believe they should be enforced at the at the end of a gun. And that's essentially, I had a friend of mine gave a live talk, Pedro, earlier today. And I'm so thankful he went into the history of police. They were birthed out of slave catching. I mean, this is the foundations of these systems that people are just somehow okay with. They're okay with a monopoly on the initiation of force in a geographic region, which is what a government is, and their own enforcers to just basically be above the law. And we see this again and again. And so my perspective is I don't want to fund that. I don't want my hard-earned dollars via taxation, without my consent, funding war, funding really a military occupation that is the state enforcer system, whether that's on a federal level or the local level. It's not voluntary, and I think it can and should be. I've looked into other solutions, and I've read a bit about this, and I'm again trying to build these solutions that can be more voluntary. You look at the privileged rich people. What do? They have bodyguards. What do they do in the jewelry stores? They have a guy there with a gun. They prevent crime before it happens. And what do the people do who can't afford that? Well, they're left at hey, I just got destroyed. And so they have to call someone to come after the fact. And the person they call puts them at more risk than the person that just attacked them. That's just insane. Whereas if we have a system, and it used to be called Detroit Threat Management, I forgot the exact name today, but they do an amazing job of policing their local neighborhoods, providing services in a voluntary manner that's decentralized. It's not a monopoly on the services, and their record is impeccable. And they actually, for the cops who are actually, if this can be said, good people. I'm sorry, it's a controversial thing to say, but I'm saying if you're willing to take a job that is okay with that and turn a blind eye when your fellow employees are doing these terrific things, then I have to start questioning at some point your character. Like if you're okay with people not being safe every day of their life and okay with the level of injustice that's going on, and basically be like, how can you be trusted if you're okay with injustice, right? So there's some concerns there. But what's beautiful is some people have come to get trained by these people because they're so good at de-escalation of violence, so good at dealing with situations in nonviolent ways. And so I want to see systems move towards that. I would love to see more local communities create their own competing currencies, create their own defense systems, even create their own mechanisms where they can have control over their own lives, self-sovereignty. I mean, no one owns your body more than you. No one owns my body more than me. And that's the foundational point. From there, we can get property. It's myself in the past. It's work that I did. And from there, we can start building these philosophical principles of liberty. And I think that it all hinges on money. And I know that's a pretty extreme thing to say, but this is what drives our human motivational psychology system, is how we get food and a mate and all these things, right? It's this storytelling of money. And if we can't take that back, and this is, central bankers do this. They have so much power because they can make money out of nothing. If we could take that back and say, hey, Marcus, you and I could create money out of nothing, wouldn't that be powerful? And if we have a community that believes us and we actually create utility value for the tokenization of that value via the money we create, people would believe the story. And then all of a sudden, you actually have millions of dollars of value that is voluntary. It's amazing power.